These are this afternoon's top stories. NIOSH report has been published. Bahamas telecommunications company employee killed and state of emergency declared in Ferguson following protests. Good afternoon and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Tuesday, August 11th. 2015, I am JD Gaines. In national news, the long-awaited report by the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, NIOSH, regarding the evaluation of the indoor environmental quality concerns at the Bastia High School has been published for public scrutiny. Dated June 2015, the NIOSH report outlined that group's investigation and evaluation of the school. It also made recommendations to the school's officials and students. Essentially, all 12 buildings on the school's campus were surveyed, and it was found that although there was water damage in some classrooms, there was no widespread mold or lead present. The report advised that active roof leaks be fixed and a health and safety committee be set up, as well as a system for employees to report building concerns. It was also reported or mentioned that it is important for employees to report signs of water intrusion and work-related health concerns. The Bastia High School was closed in the fall of 2014 in response to ongoing indoor environmental quality concerns. At that time, the school was closed. Staff concerns reportedly included skin irritation, fungal infections, coughing, headaches, thickening of skin, vertigo, cancers, and miscarriages. School officials had reported that the concerns decreased when the staff moved to another school. My government will adopt a pro-business agenda for growth was the promise made by country's leader, Prime Minister the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, during a recent interview with the OECS Business Forum. Dr. Harris's comment came when he was asked how he plans to ensure that St. Kitts and Nevis continues to be praised as the island with the most progressive economy and the highest levels of foreign direct investment. As part of his strategies, Dr. Harris plans to improve the tax incentives process by establishing transparent guidelines for accessing concessions, build better relationships with the business community and investors, improve the quality of public infrastructure and the reliability of cost of utilities, create a highly skilled, trained and productive labor force through education and certification, and improve logistical arrangements such as transportation, travel and communication between St. Kitts and Nevis and its trading partners. He noted that foreign direct investment inflows averaged EC $223.7 million over the last 3 years. New Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Carleen Henry Morton, says having been in education for 33 years, she believes in marrying education and tourism. Henry Morton says more can be done to groom the Federation's youth from as early as preschool to understand and appreciate the important role that tourism plays in the economy. She told our reporter that sensitizing youth to various opportunities will help to groom the assessment of what tourism is really about. The tourism PS said in this way, the youth will not grow up thinking that tourism is simply tourists coming to our shores, but in a way that they can earn an honest living if they begin to think in very creative ways the part they can play and how they can benefit from the industry. Originally, an employee of the Bahamas telecommunications company BTC was gunned down on Monday morning in the Oaks Field area. The victim was at breakfast stand on Horseshoe Drive when the incident occurred. ZNS Fern Carey has the details to this story.
Police say the fatal shooting unfolded shortly after 8 Monday morning in front of Rusi's breakfast stand on Horseshoe Drive, Oaks Field. Officer in charge of homicide, Superintendent B.K. Bonamy Jr., said when officers arrived at the scene, they met a man lying on his back with a gunshot wound to the head.
Two males accosted him in a green SUV. This vehicle sped off after two men approached him and fired some shots at him. We don't know which direction the vehicle left in, but we want to appeal to members of the public if they had seen a green SUV leaving the scene to please contact us at CDU to help us advance this investigation.
Superintendent Barnaby stopped short of releasing the victim's identity. However, he noted that the deceased was not wearing an ankle monitoring bracelet and was not known to police. President of the Bahamas Communications and Public Officers Union, Bernard Evans, was also at the scene. He identified the victim as Jamal Hyla, a 10-year employee at BTC who worked in the company's fleet management department for Paul Truck.
In Barbados, as the Frundle Stewart administration welcomes the removal of the country from Spain's blacklist of non-cooperative tax jurisdictions, Minister of International Business Donville Innes is saying he will be pushing to have all of the other countries follow suit over the next few months. Spain, which was among a group of European Union states that blacklisted Barbados, decided to change its position following protests by the Ministry of International Business, while at the same time considering that Barbados is not a tax haven. On Monday, after the news became public, Minister Innes said while he was pleased with Spain's change of heart, he was not surprised considering there was no merit in blacklisting Barbados in the first place. He said he was now awaiting responses from the remaining countries to diplomatic notes sent to them about their listings.
I'm willing to sit as minister and have talks with his counterparts. There will be some international fora that will allow that, as well as my counterpart, Minister McLean in Foreign Affairs, do engage with them occasionally. And I expect probably next year or so we're going to see more treaties and more tax arrangements being made between Barbados and other countries, not just Europe. We recently signed a double taxation agreement with Rwanda, which is the fastest growing economy in Africa. And we are expecting to get some business going into Rwanda from Barbados, over the next year or so. And of course, South America continues to look bright for us. I'm seeing an increase in business out of Venezuela through Barbados, as well as Colombia and Mexico. We recently held talks with Brazil as well. So I coffee premier the phone and talk about Thursday night. So I expect that South America is also going to continue to be a growth area for our international business sector.
Internationally, a state of emergency has been declared in the U.S. city of Ferguson, and the authorities are braced for more unrest. Protests marking the death of Michael Brown 1 year ago ended with another African-American teenager being shot by police. More than 50 people have been arrested for blocking the courthouse building. Al Jazeera's Kristen Salumi reports.
Activists gather in a church in St. Louis and prepare to get arrested.
So we march, and we march with the chants and all of that.
Church leaders and peace activists take part, including well-known philosopher Cornel West.
You got black president, black attorney general, you've got head of Homeland Security who's black and still can't deliver justice for poor people and black people. And so now we're moving toward pressure on the federal government.
Some have come from out of state. This 13-year-old girl is from Ferguson.
The kind of change this brings is that they see we're serious, and so they'll take us serious instead of thinking we're just a joke or we're just a game. And I don't think there's been a change because, just yesterday, the 1-year anniversary, they shot somebody else.
All in all, a couple hundred people acting under the banner of Ferguson Action descended on the federal courthouse with a message for the Department of Justice. About 50 climbed the barricades, pushing up against police as the crowd chanted and cheered them on. In less than an hour, they were arrested.
Poland has agreed to accept 2,000 asylum seekers as part of a European Union effort to stem the migrant crisis. However, as Al Jazeera's Jonah Hull reports, the decision has not been widely welcomed.
Poland is not a country with a migration problem. At an accommodation centre in Warsaw, refugee families wait for the outcome of their asylum claims. They are relatively few in number and most come from neighbouring Ukraine. Migrants from further afield are viewed with deep suspicion, according to recent public surveys.
I'm afraid that it's going to happen something like in France when where they wanted to take off the crosses from everywhere, from the public places. I think that we have to protect sort of our beliefs, our culture.
Poland's pledge to take in 2,000 migrants from Africa and the Middle East over the next 2 years is small but significant in a country with strong views about preserving its religious and cultural identity. These men have fled war-torn Syria, exchanging home decorating work for Polish language lessons. They asked that we protect their identities. They're among a group of 50 families recently accepted into Poland, but specifically because they are Christians, not Muslims.
We are working with Christian leaders, with bishops, with priests in Syria, because we really needed to know that the people we are bringing, they are, safe to bring.
Taking a look at the weather. Today will be partly sunny with a few cloudy periods and a slight chance of brief passing showers. Tonight will be partly cloudy with showers. Temperatures for today should peak at 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Seas are slight to moderate with waves of heights up to 5 feet. Sunset for this evening will be at 6:40, while sunrise for tomorrow will be at 5:53 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for the details to these stories and more in our major news presentation. I have been your presenter, JD Keynes. Thanks for tuning in. Have a wonderful afternoon.